a full-grown gray wolf. This young lady is Jana Helmut. They've lived in the same house for the past 6 years. Both Jana and Kunu were brought up by one of these 3 men. What is your name, please?
My name is Jerome Helmut.
My name is Jerome Helmut.
My name is Jerome Helmut.
Only one of these men is the real Jerome Helmut. The other 2 are imposters and will try to fool this panel. Tom Poston, Peggy Cass, Orson Bean, and Kitty Carlisle. On To Tell the Truth with your host, Bud Collier.
Thank you. Thank you, and welcome once again to Tell the Truth. Good evening, panel.
Good evening.
Well, we're full of it tonight, aren't we, huh? We're brought to you this evening by Dristan Tablets for relief of colds, misery, sinus congestion. Very well, panel, open up that envelope, if you will, please. It's in front of you, and follow along as I read from my copy. I, Jerome Helmut, am a child psychologist. My wife and I have brought up not only 4 children and a number of dogs, but also a 6-year-old gray wolf named Kunu. We took Kunu home when she was just an hour old. Our experience over the years has taught us that the wolf is a much maligned animal. Kunu will always demand respect and be something of a loner, but she is an animal of great tenderness and affection, often demonstrated by a large wolf kiss for one of the members of the family. We were so delighted by the success of our experiment that last year we adopted a 1-month-old wolf called Inuk as a companion and eventual mate for Kunu. I have written about the trials and joys of bringing up Kunu in a new book called A Wolf in the Family, signed Jerome Helmut. Now, panel, these 3 gentlemen all claim to be, as you heard, Jerome Helmut, author of a new book called A Wolf in the Family. We'll start the questioning, if we may, with Peggy Cass. Peggy?
Thank you, Bud. My, she's got beautiful eyes. Number 2, what do you feed her?
Meat, grain, bread. She'll eat most things.
Thank you. Number 3, how did you get her when she was 1 hour old? Was she born in the wild?
No, she was born in the Brookfield Zoo in Chicago.
Oh. Number 1, when wolves mate, do they stay with the same mate for life?
Yes, they're monogamous.
That's what I try to think of that word. Number 2, what's the difference between a timber wolf and a gray wolf?
Only the coloring.
Oh. Number 3, what is a Malamute?
A Malamute is a sled dog from Alaska.
Thank you. Number 1, is there any wolf in a Malamute?
It's supposed to be.
Thank you. Number 2, is there a bounty on wolves?
There is, unfortunately.
Oh.
Orson Bean.
Number 3, how much wolf can there be in a dog that he's still called a dog? I mean, when do you have a wolf living in your house? Do you understand what I mean?
No.
How much? I mean, because I met a dog recently who
How much wolf blood can be in a dog?
Mm-hmm.
Well, not more than...
And he still is a dog. When does he become a wolf?
Well, 1/4.
1/4? Half and half is all right.
1/4.
All right, now, number 1, do you trust this big fellow along with your kids and all?
Yes.
Don't you ever have any qualms at all?
No.
Remember that Jack London story? Well, that was the wife that was in the wrong. Yeah, that's true. Number 2, who was Nicky Dog of the North?
He was a Jack London character.
Number 3, who publishes your book?
The American Library.
Number 1, is the book out yet?
Kitty Carlisle.
Number 1, how does your wolf get along with the other dogs in the neighborhood?
It's crazy about dogs.
Oh.
Crazy about dogs.
Number 2, are dogs crazy about him?
They, the males, I'm sorry, the males, yes.
The females don't like him?
It's a girl, yeah.
Her? Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh.
Makes a difference in your approach.
Yeah, it does make a difference. Number 3, what was the purpose of this experiment? Were you trying to prove that love conquers all?
No, I wanted to do something that somebody else has never done. They've done it out in the wilds, but never in their own home.
Number 1, do you believe that love conquers all?
Yes.
Number 2, do you believe that this experiment is worthwhile for every American family to have a wolf in the house?
Some American families, yes.
Why?
You've got to care for animals.
Uh-huh. And number 3, why is it that in Russia they eat all the people?
Tom Poston.
In the steppe.
They don't.
They don't, he said. Well, I'd like to talk about the young lady. Number 1, what was the young lady's name again?
Jana.
As I understand it, she's been living with you for several years.
Yes.
Did you find her in the Brookfield Zoo number? Where did you find the young lady?
Which one are you talking about?
Well, I don't know. As I understood at the beginning, they said the young lady and the wolf had lived with you for the past 6 years.
Yes. Which young lady are you speaking of?
The young lady on the platform with us this evening.
Yes.
Is she not a daughter, no?
She's my daughter.
Oh, well, for heaven's sake, I thought there was... She's been living with you for considerably more than 6 years, then, I take it, number one.
Well, I would think so.
Number two, what does the name Kunu mean? Could you tell us?
The grave.
The grave. Oh, no. The grave.
And that's all the time you have, but you still have time to mark your ballots, and that I ask you to do right now. Mark them immediately without change and without any consultation whatsoever. Simply vote, if you will, for number 1, number 2, or number 3. Our team of challengers will receive $250 for every incorrect vote. Are all ballots marked? Oh, quickly. Very well. Tom, for whom did you vote?
I voted for number 1 because he answered all my questions.
Peggy Cass.
Well, I voted for number 1. I like the look in his eyes, but is that dog going to come out at the end of the show? That wolf's going to come out at the end of the show?
You're going to hold it. Orson Bean.
I voted for number 1 as well. I think he has a sweet face. He looks like he likes children. And who else would be a child psychologist? Number 2 said, I don't know if Nicky Dog of the North was Jacqueline or not. It was a Walt Disney picture. And number 3 said, oh, that was a good answer, the Malamute. I don't know if it's true, but I remember the Malamute Saloon. Is it true? Sorry.
Kitty Carlisle.
I voted for number 3. I'm probably all wrong because when number 3 sat down, he shot a look at the platform to make sure that both the dog and his daughter were all right. And probably he didn't really shoot a look because he must know they're all right after being 6 years with the wolf.
I don't know. Any father who knows his daughter is with a wolf would shoot a look or two, I think. All right, votes are all in and the minds are made up. Let's find out now which one of these 3 gentlemen, in truth, is the author of a book called A Wolf in the Family. Will the real Jerome Helmut please stand up? Thank you, sir, very much. Very much indeed. Number 2, what is your real name and what do you really do?
My name is Reginald B. Han. I'm a manager of a department with the English Electric Corporation.
And number 3, what is your real name and what do you do?
My name is William Silverthorne. I'm a freelance proofreader.
Well, in checking the score, we find that there was 1 incorrect vote, and that's worth $250, gentlemen. We hope it brings you great joy. On your way out, you'll also receive, of course, a gift package of all the fine products from the makers of Dristan. We thank you for joining us and hope you enjoyed it, too. Goodbye, and God bless you. Meet our next team of challengers.
What is your name, please?
My name is Beverly Carlson. My name is Beverly Carlson. My name is Beverly Carlson.
Please follow along with your copies of this next story, if you will, panel. I, Beverly Carlson, am a farmer. Together with my 5 brothers and sisters, I lease and work 50 acres of farmland to provide money for our college education. Our biggest crop is peanuts. In order to publicize National Peanut Week, our Growers Association voted me Peanut Princess. Incidentally, this year happens to be the 75th anniversary of the creation of peanut butter. Signed, Beverly Carlson. These 3 young ladies all claim to be Beverly Carlson, Peanut Princess. I think you'll agree with me the lowly peanut never looked so nice. Let's start the cross-examination with Orson Bean. Orson?
Lovely girls, lovely girls. Number 3, Peanut Princess number 3, Miss Carlson. Do you hope to become the Nougatine Queen someday? That I mean, are you going to go on with this line of work, or will you be back behind the hoe for you?
No, I'm afraid I'll be back behind the hoe.
Number 2, what is a fluffernutter?
A fluffernutter?
Surely you must know what a fluffernutter is.
It may be another name for a peanut, but I've never heard
Number
it.
1, what's a fluffernutter?
I'm sorry, I don't know.
Number 3, a fluffernutter?
No.
Oh, mercy. Number 1, who created peanut butter? Or was it always around? Did someone invent it?
I don't know who it was.
Number 3, do you know?
It was a physician in St. Louis.
Number 2, did George Washington Carver, was that the only thing of the peanut he didn't invent?
Well, George Washington Carver did invent a lot of things from the peanut, but he didn't invent peanut butter.
Do you know who did, Princess?
Yes.
Your Majesty?
Kitty Carlisle.
I think it's the prettiest trio of girls I ever saw. Princess number 2, who did invent peanut butter?
It was a physician. Peanut has a lot of protein in it, and he gave it to his patients.
Number 1, what is George Washington Carver's university?
I'm sorry, I don't know.
Number 3, how many crops do you have a year?
1.
Only 1?
Yes.
Number 2, how much time do you spend cultivating your land?
Well, we rotate our crops, and it keeps it cultivated.
Number 1, how much money, if it's not indiscreet, have you made for your college education?
Well, this year we had about $8,000 net income.
That's marvelous. And how many hours' work does this represent, number 3?
Oh, I guess I really wouldn't know exactly how many. A lot.
Tom Poston.
Number 2, do you know anything about tobacco?
I'm sorry, I don't.
Number 3, do you know anything about tobacco?
No, I'm sorry.
Well, you don't have to. It's not fair either. Where's your farm, number 3?
It's in Tarboro, North Carolina.
Yeah? Do you know Linwood King?
No, I don't.
Nobody does. Number 1, give me another name for peanuts. You must know at least one.
Goober?
A goober. Number 2, how do you pick these peanuts?
They're picked by a digger mechanically, and then a shaker comes along and shakes the dirt off of them, then a combine.
You mean they're grown in the ground?
Yes, underground.
Number 3, we often eat peanuts, shells and all. How do they get the dirt off?
They're cleaned.
Are they cleaned before they're sold?
Peggy Cass.
I don't eat shells. I just eat the insides. Who eats from the ground? Number 1, how do peanuts grow?
They're grown underground.
Number 3, are they on vines?
Yes, they are.
Thank you. Number 2, is a goober pea a peanut?
Yes, I believe it is.
And number 3, what is a monkey nut?
I'm sorry, I don't know.
Number 1, how much of the peanut is used?
Well, the entire peanut can be used for different things.
Well, number 2, what would they use the shell for?
You mean the hull?
The hull.
They can mash it up and use it for fodder for swine, other animals.
Number 3, is any part of the peanut used for fiber?
Yes.
And that's all the time we have, but there is time for you to mark your ballots, and as I ask you to do. Mark your ballots. Mark them now with the information you've gained. Mark them at once without change and without any consultation, of course. Simply vote for number 1, number 2, or number 3. Are all ballots marked? Yes, they are. Very well. Tom, for whom did you vote this time?
I voted for number 1. I thought that when she talked about the money that she made, there was a bite there, and I don't blame her, because that's hard work, raising peanuts.
Peggy Cass.
I voted for number 2 because she looks as though she's used to wearing that crown and that sash. I believe she is the peanut queen.
Orson Bean.
Well, they could all pick peanuts on my farm any day of the week and twice on Sunday. But I voted for number 2. I think she really has the look of the peanut fancier about her. She's cute as a bug's ear and looks like a sweet young farmerette.
Kitty Carlisle.
Well, they all 3 gave marvelous answers, but I thought number 3 gave some very quietly assured answers about what happens to the peanut and what you can use it for and its background.
Very well. That's widely split. They came at you this time. Let's see what it does as we wind up and finding out right now which one of these young ladies, in truth, is the peanut princess. So will the real Beverly Carlson please stand up?
It's not 2. It's number 1. Oh, it's 1.
No, it's number 3.
Still take odds it's 2.
Thank you, Beverly. Thank you very much. Incidentally, I think you should know that Beverly Carlson was chosen peanut princess by the Alabama and Georgia peanut growers. And I must say they got mighty good taste. Oh, I think we've got good taste in picking the other two to work with you tonight. You may be seated, if you will, Beverly. You don't have to stand there all the time. Slide that sash around a little more. I'd rather see less of the peanut, more of the princess. That's a girl. Because you are that, believe me, in everything that you do. What do you plan to do? Are you in college now, or are you...
No, I'm a senior in high school, and I plan to go to college next year.
Where are you planning to go?
Georgia Southern in Statesboro.
Good for you, and good luck to you, and lucky college is all I can say. Number 2, what is your real name, and what do you really do?
My name is Mrs. Michael Waters. I'm a secretary at Nelson Associates, an educational consulting firm here in New York City.
And number 3, I don't know why you're looking at me so terrified. What is your real name, and what do you really do?
My name is Starling Holt, and I'm a sophomore at Finch College.
Well, 3 prettier young ladies we never had on the show, may I say. Checking the score, we find that you did well. There were 3 incorrect votes. That'll keep those lights in your eyes. That's 3 times $250, or a total of $750 you get to divide. On your way out, you'll also receive a gift package of all the fine products from the makers of Tristan. And we thank you for sharing your evening with us. It was our blessing, believe me. Good night, and God bless you. Well, the panel will be back at it in just a moment, right after this film. Our 3rd team of challengers.
What is your name, please?
My name is John Artichoker.
My name is John Artichoker.
My name is John Artichoker.
Again, may I ask you to follow along, panel? I, John Artichoker, was appointed by the United States Commissioner of Indian Affairs as Superintendent of the Northern Cheyenne Indian Reservation in Lame Deer, Montana. Although I have jurisdiction over 3,000 Cheyenne, I myself am an Ogallala Sioux Indian. My duties include the supervision of the Cheyenne's education, law enforcement, and development of natural resources. Because of my work, I was recently selected by the United States Junior Chamber of Commerce as one of the 10 outstanding young men in America. Signed, John Artichoker. Panel, these 3 gentlemen all claim to be John Artichoker, Superintendent of the Northern Cheyenne Indian Reservation. We'll start this one with Kitty Carlisle. Kitty?
Thank you, Bud. Bravo to whoever it is. Number 2, how did you get the name John Artichoker?
Well, it's traditional.
What does it mean?
It means white buffalo.
Ah, number 3, I'm sorry. What tribe do the Cheyenne belong to? Does it belong to a larger tribe? Or is it in itself a large tribe?
Well, I don't understand what you mean.
Well, aren't there Blackfeet Sioux? Don't they all belong to something else?
No, that's a nation.
Yes. Is the Cheyenne a nation?
Yes, it is now.
It is. Number 1, when you say that you are developing natural resources, what does this mean?
Well, this is in relation to the resources on the reservation, which include grassland, timber, and other natural resources.
Number 2, what is the national income of the Cheyenne based on?
It's based on government-supervised properties.
Tom Poston.
Thank you. Number 1, there are a couple of male motion picture stars in California who are work very hard to help the Indians and help the Indians. Do you know a couple of those people? I happen to be friends. I know a couple that are really interested.
Well, the only one I know, I guess, is Jay Silverheels. I know who he is. Tonto. Most every American.
Well, I wasn't thinking of it. Number 3, do you know a couple of non-Indians that I know who are very, very interested in the work in progress and help as much as they can?
Marlon Brando and Charleston Heston.
Thank you. Number 2, what are the actual tribal divisions of the Sioux Nation? There are more than Ogallala, are they not?
You're right. There are 7.
7? Oh.
Peggy Cass.
Thank you. Number 3, is the Cheyenne a Plains Indian?
It's Northern Plains Indian.
Northern Plains Indian. And number 2, name 2 other Plains Indians for me, will you please?
Did you say number 2?
Yes.
Arapaho, Pawnee.
Thank you. Number 1, in New York, we have a lot of Indians that do steel work. They work up on the high buildings on the girders. Do you know what tribe that is?
I believe that's Mohawk.
Thank you. Number 3, is Cheyenne Autumn true? The movie?
It's based on fact. Yes, it is.
I didn't know that. Number 2, you know, there was a place called the Longhouse that represented certain tribes. It was like the parliament of certain tribes. What tribes were those, do you know?
The Iroquois Nation.
Iroquois Nation. Thank you. Number 1, where was the Iroquois Nation?
On the eastern seaboard.
Thank you.
Orson Bean.
Yes, I once heard Jay Silverheels, who's a marvelous actor, plays Tonto. He said he married an Italian girl, which is true, to pay back Columbus. Number 1, do you know, number 1, do you know what tribe Jay Silverheels comes from? Do you know what tribe Jay Silverheels comes from?
I believe he's an eastern Indian.
Number 3, what do you feel about the fact that America has gone back on its treaties time and time again, most recently with the rotten deal that was given the Indians in upstate New York? Do you know what tribe that I'm referring to?
The upstate eastern tribe, yes, I feel very badly about it, and I think everyone else should too.
Number 2, do you know what the tribe was that had its land taken away from it most recently?
Yes.
Which tribe?
Senecas.
Number 1, again, which tribe were known as the Basket Weavers? Or was it a nation?
Well, I think there were several tribes that were basket weavers.
And that's it. So weave your way through your ballots, if you will, please, panel. Mark them immediately. No changes and no consultations amongst you. Simply vote for number 1, number 2, or number 3. All ballots are about to be marked. There we have it. All right, Tom, for whom?
I voted for number 3. I happen to know that both Brando and Heston are very interested in these. I just think that it's awful nice that they let us live in their country. We certainly like it here, and we appreciate the fact that you're letting us live here. I wish we could do more for you in return.
Peggy Cass.
I voted for number 3 because when he said that we ought to write or do, well, I don't write, but do something about taking the Senecas' land away, he meant it.
Orson Bean.
I voted for number 2. He strikes me as a fellow who could handle 3,000 people and do a good job at it.
And Kitty Carlisle.
I voted for number 2 because he didn't say what tribe it was, Tom, when you asked the question about the Indians in North New York who'd gotten a rough deal. And number 2 did know what they were, so I voted for number 2.
Very well, it's evenly split then. You haven't done that in a while. 2 for number 3, 2 for number 2. Let's see how it works out as we learn now which one of these gentlemen, in truth, is the superintendent of the Northern Cheyenne Indian Reservation. Will the real John Artichoker please stand up?
Holy crap!
He almost believed it. Oh, dear. You almost had your cohort there believing it. How long have you been doing this work, sir?
Well, just for about the last year and 3 months, I've been the superintendent, and prior to that, I worked with the State Department of Education in South Dakota and also with the Public Health Service.
Do you think there is an improvement in the job that's being done?
I think in the last 4 or 5 years, the government has taken a little more realistic approach on Indian affairs.
None too soon. Number 2, what is your real name and what do you really do?
I'm Chief Shanatona. I'm director of music for a Christian church in Tulsa.
And number 3, what is your real name, sir, and what do you really do?
My name is Kid Fox, and I'm a professional wrestler.
And in checking the score, you did the best tonight because you fooled them all the way. That means there were 4 incorrect votes at $250 each. You can add that even faster than I can. It's a total of $1,000, gentlemen. Also, on your way out, you will, of course, receive a gift package of all the fine products from the makers of Tristan. Our sincere thanks to you. We hope you enjoyed it as much as we did. Good night, and God bless you. That's all the time we have, but good times go fast. Thank you, panel. Good night.
Good night, bye.
Good night.
And good night to all of you. And good night from Tristan. Now, don't forget to join us the same time next week, and, of course, I'll see you tomorrow afternoon on the daytime show. In the meantime, don't you forget to tell the truth. Bye.
To Tell the Truth is a Mark Goodson, Bill Todman production.
Astronaut John Glenn joins Walter Cronkite for a CBS News special on America's efforts to land a man on the moon in this decade in T-minus 4 years, 9 months, and 30 days. Tonight at 10, 9 Central Time.
To Tell the Truth has been brought to you tonight by new self-polishing Aero Wax with jet-age plastic for the tough, long-lasting shine that never yellows floors. New Aero Wax. This is Johnny Olson speaking for To Tell the